Amy Holmes is a contributor to The Blaze, which is, of course, Glenn Beck's so-called news company. And she went on MSNBC and made absurd talking point after absurd talking point about Netanyahu after his unfortunate election win last night.
How do we move forward now that Netanyahu's going to be there?
In my view, I think President Obama has personalized his conflict with Benjamin Netanyahu in a way that is both disgraceful and shocking. You do not hear President Obama making these remarks and having this public conflict with, I don't know, Kim Jong-un or the Castro brothers. It seems that Benjamin Netanyahu gets to be the focal point of this White House's ire. But it goes well beyond that. Remember that President Obama, on his first visit to the Middle East, skipped Israel. When he finally went to Israel, he refused to speak to the Israeli parliament. This is the same president who also suggested that Israel's credibility or its founding was based on the Holocaust and not millennia-old claim to Jewish territory. This relationship and the conflict between the White House and the interests of Israel, I think, go well beyond a personal dispute between this president and their prime minister, who has now been handily reelected. And let's face it, if Benjamin Netanyahu had been defeated last night, hold on, Robert, if Benjamin Netanyahu had been defeated last night, I think you would hear gloating from 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. And I think it also makes him look weak. If he lets it be known that he's trying to topple this leader, he better succeed. But in fact, he didn't.
Robert?
I'm really confused at the first part. You said that the administration hadn't been hard on the North Korean leader, but had on
they
Benjamin
didn't call him
Netanyahu?
chicken bleep to the Atlantic Monthly. They don't snub him repeatedly. They don't make it, as you said just on this broadcast, public that there is this terrible tension between these two leaders. Only Benjamin Netanyahu seems to be the focal point of this president's ire.
Well,
actually, no.
I think that's the silliest thing I've probably heard in a long time. I mean, the notion that
I'm sure you do.
The notion that you make it sound like we have some great relationship with the North Koreans.
Oh, that was awesome. Normally, I don't like Robert Gibbs because he's obviously too big of a political insider and he's part of the Obama administration, and it's silly because he has a massive conflict of interest, but he's on a supposedly objective channel. I can go on and on. But it's nice to see somebody pop that right-wing bubble in such an aggressive way and such a condescending way. But that was earned condescension. Because that point really is incredibly stupid. And this is what we talk about all the time, guys, about how so many right-wing commentators, they can't sit at the adults' table. Because they're not ready to have serious conversations about policy issues. They just say emotional nonsense shit. I mean, look at what she argued. Oh, the administration is softer on Netanyahu than on Kim Jong-un. Yeah, which is why Kim Jong-un has been slapped with sanctions up the wazoo, and they've been on North Korea for as long as any of us can remember, which is why allegedly the U.S. government shut down the fucking internet of all of North Korea, all 7 people that had it, by the way. All people who were top-level people who had it. They shut it down because of, remember, the, cyber attack that happened with the release of the James Franco, Seth Rogen movie. But I digress. We can talk about that forever. North Korea is a stated enemy of the United States. The idea that President Obama is nicer to Kim Jong-un than to Netanyahu, for fuck's sake! Obama gave them Iron Dome! It smacks the Hamas rockets right out of the sky and keeps Israel safer! We give billions of dollars in aid to the Netanyahu government, to Israel! The former Mossad chief came out a while ago and said, President Obama is the best president on the issue of Israel of all the presidents. He's been the best by far. But you know what it is? He doesn't come out and lick the boots of Netanyahu. He doesn't bow to Netanyahu like he's an authoritarian master who gets to dictate everything about policy in that area. So how do they view that? Oh, you don't want to do exactly what he says about everything ever? Well, I guess you hate him, and I guess that you treat him worse than you treat Kim Jong-un. You're just not a serious person. And then look at some of the other stuff, too. She was making fun of the fact that Obama said Israel was founded because of the Holocaust and not because of a millennia-old claim to the land. You know what she's referring to there, right? She's referring to, Israel has a religious right to that land. That's the most important part. That's the most important thing about Israel, is that it's a divine right because of the bullshit sky god that doesn't exist. No, look at the timing of it. I do believe the partition plan happened directly after the Holocaust because of the Holocaust. So, Amy Holmes, come on. Again, I don't like Robert Gibbs. In fact, I don't think we've ever covered a positive story of him on the show. I mean, maybe once, I guess. But that was beautiful to watch because she's making insane right-wing talking points, and he's like, wait. What did you just say? President Obama treats Netanyahu worse than Kim Jong-un? That's the silliest thing I've heard in a while.